There's a kind of intelligence that makes people uncomfortable, not because it's arrogant, not because it's loud, but because it sees deeply, clearly, and without flinching. The kind of mind that walks into a room and instantly senses what no one dares to say. It's the man who notices the silence behind the laughter, the woman who sees the weariness behind the smiles. And society doesn't like that, because deep intelligence, it doesn't just solve problems, it reveals truths. And truth is the most dangerous thing of all. Highly intelligent individuals don't threaten society because they're smarter. They threaten it because they disrupt the narrative. Most people live in mental comfort zones, unspoken agreements about what to ignore, what to pretend, and what not to question. But the intelligent mind, the truly aware mind, refuses to play along. It asks, why do we work jobs we hate? Why do we lie in relationships that are dead? Why do we define success by how exhausted we are? It questions, it reflects, it digs, and that makes people uneasy, because when one person wakes up, they remind everyone else that they're still asleep. Schopenhauer once said, "The person of intellect is like a man who walks alone in the desert and sees further than others can even imagine." That vision, that clarity, is both a gift and a curse. You'd think intelligence would be celebrated, but more often than not, it's silenced. In school, the intelligent child is too intense. In the workplace, the deep thinker is too serious. In relationships, the sensitive mind is too much. But none of that is true. What they're really saying is, you make me confront parts of myself I'm not ready to face. Society doesn't fear intelligence, it fears mirrors. And intelligent people are mirrors. They reflect back the emptiness of shallow ambition, the absurdity of social games, the fragility of collective illusions. So what happens? They're mocked, dismissed, isolated, not because they're wrong, but because they're right too soon. With awareness comes exile. To see what others ignore is a quiet kind of suffering. You're surrounded by noise, yet starving for depth. You're in a crowded room, yet utterly alone. You hear conversations filled with gossip, but your soul craves conversations about the human condition, about meaning, about death, about beauty, about truth. It's not superiority, it's spiritual hunger. And most people don't understand that. They confuse your detachment with arrogance, your silence with weakness, your solitude with failure. But intelligence isn't always about IQ. It's about perception, about feeling too much, thinking too much, knowing too much, and having no one to share it with. This is why many intelligent people drift into melancholy, not because they're broken, but because they're awake. Arthur Schopenhauer understood this deeply. To him, life was suffering, and intelligence was the knife that peeled back the veil. He believed the more one understood the world, the more unbearable it became, because the truth is raw, ugly, lonely, but also free. He wrote, "The more unintelligent a man is, the less mysterious existence seems to him." In other words, the intelligent suffer more because they see more, yet in that suffering is power, the power to detach, to observe, to choose one's path with eyes wide open, not blindly, but with tragic clarity. Highly intelligent people question what others accept, and in doing so, they challenge the foundation of society. Why do we worship productivity over presence? Why do we fear silence? Why do we pretend everything's fine when it's not? These questions unsettle people because deep down everyone feels it. the emptiness, the disconnection, the spiritual starvation. But most choose distraction, most choose conformity, most choose numbness, the intelligent refuse. They'd rather be alone than fake, rather be misunderstood than conform, rather suffer in truth than live in illusion. And that's what makes them dangerous. Not to the world, but to the lies the world depends on. So if you're one of them, if you've ever been called too intense, too serious, too quiet, too strange, know this: you are not broken. You are simply seeing what others cannot yet bear to face. You are a mirror in a world that hates reflection, a voice in the darkness. And though the path is lonely, it is real. And in this world of illusions, that is the highest form of freedom. Subscribe if this spoke to a part of you no one else sees, a voice in the darkness.